Hello, I'm Christine Nixon, and this is part of a series that we've been working on as part of my new website, christinenixon.com.au. We've so far had a couple of sessions that we've worked on. The first one covered the issues around being respectful for the people you're working with and trying to change. The second part of that session was around limits and how they often stop us from doing the things that we could achieve and our organisations could achieve as well. The last video we did was one covering the issues around setting goals, and for you as an individual and for organisations. This video, I want to work on the issue of how we get things done, about networks and about support and perhaps partnerships that we need to establish. You know, lots of people sort of look at others and think, gee, you know, they're smart and they've done it all on their own. And I think my experience is so much so that's not the case. It's very much that anybody you look at who's achieved anything, any major organisation, it's all because they've had so many people involved in the process. They've got everybody involved, but they've got a lot of networks. They've pulled on, looked at different perspectives to be able to help them bring about that change. And I guess the kind of partnerships and networks, for me, very early days, when I was in the New South Wales Police, I had a great network of people who I used to get a great deal of advice from. You know, there were a group of women in that stage, and there were also women who worked in Premier's Department and others who were parliamentarians, a range of women who I found incredibly open, who were really helpful when you got sort of not sure where you had to go. I remember walking down once to the Premier's Department in New South Wales when, you know, things were just not going well at all, and saw the head of the department, and in a really short time she helped me figure out a way to go forward. I think you need to build the networks. The guys, particularly who might be listening to this, they're actually better at it than women are. It's kind of, maybe it's got to do with footy, soccer, I don't know, but women are not as good at building these networks. We build relationships and we build friendships, and they're really important. But sometimes you have to have networks. I've had people ring me up, both when I was in New South Wales and as the Chief Commissioner of Victoria, and perhaps since, and just said, you know, can you give me some advice on this issue? And I'm very happy to. I've never found anybody who's knocked me back. They might have had to take a bit of time. So I think about the networks you've got. Think about the networks your organisation has. Again, in Victoria Police, we were working on networks with, if the issue is around stolen motor vehicles, which I've talked about before, think about insurance companies, think about the RACV club, you know, the organisation, think about car park owners. They're all part of building the network that can help you achieve your goals. And if it was within Victoria Police a bit broader, then we worked with communities, and we had multi-faith, multicultural groups. All of those networks are really important. I don't know what your organisation's network look like. I work with an organisation called Good Shepherd Microfinance. Our great partners in that are obviously all the people within the organisation, but also the banks. We're now talking to insurance companies about cheaper insurance for people as well. And so we work closely with our partners so that they know where we are. Government departments, part of it, federal government, new ministers, they're all part of it. So just be really careful about, first of all, identifying, you know, who could be in this network and who, you know, within your organisation needs to be working with to achieve your goals. And what about you? Just come back to that piece of it. So where's your networks? Who are the people you might call on if you're applying for a new job? I got a call from a woman the other day. She was, her job, she was made redundant, and she called me up and she said, Christine, I've got an interview, haven't done an interview for years. Can you tell me some of the things you think I should be thinking about? Again, easy conversation. Who are your networks who could help you? Who are the people that might give you some insight into a new role that's coming up? And someone who might sponsor you is also a part of it. Maybe in the future we'll talk a bit more about sponsorship rather than just kind of mentoring. So think about your networks, think about how they can help you achieve your goals. And I suppose the third part for me in all of this, and it's a bit more personal, is about that support around you. About family, about, you know, people who are around you to give you advice and support. And many of you will have got so far. My mum and dad were great supporters, and my husband John, great supporter. And you need those people. Many of the senior women I've seen in positions of CEOs have great support from a husband or a partner, someone around them who kind of says, yes, you can do it, or alternately, when you go home and you've had a pretty rough day, they might say, oh, come on, you know, get a bit of perspective, or as my husband sometimes says, get a life. And you need that. You need someone to keep your feet on the ground. So the networks, the partnerships, they're really important. Just think about where are your organisation's networks and where are your own partnerships, where are your own sources of support.